So the most controversial pick, maybe of the first three
Mm-hmm.
rounds here. When I started seeing the name Moody, I was like, wait, Moses Moody?
Moses Moody is playing
Moses
for
Moody can
the.
play for the Niners too? Wow, this guy's
Well, he's not playing
talented.
for the Warriors.
Moses Moody might have been the best player on the floor in the game 6 there.
Oh
So
yeah.
the 49ers, now we were hearing before the draft started, Jake Moody's the best kicker in the draft. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of folks thought early 4th is where he probably fits. Niners had a late 3rd. That's where they go and grab Moody, pick number 99, which was a compensatory pick. I mean, I don't remember. You can go back to Sebastian Janikowski getting picked in like the first round by the
I'm
Raiders.
on it. I'm on it, Gigi. You know I'm on it. In the past 25 years, there have been 7 kickers taken in the top 100 picks. Janikowski in 2000, Mike Nugent, um, Aguayo, which was that horrible pick by Tampa Bay. He didn't even make it a season.
Yeah,
And then Nate Keating, Martin Grammatica, Bill Grammatica, and then
Automatica Grammatica. Oh
and
man,
then Jake Moody. Fun fact, a name, a blast from the past, because I completely forgot about this. One pick below, those are the 7 who have been taken in the past 25 years in the top 100. The next player down, 8, 102, Jeff Chandler. How about that?
wow.
From 2002 to 2004, San
There you
Francisco
go.
49ers.
That's a great
Yeah.
name. Okay, so but here I'm going to give you another great name, and this just shows my my longevity as a Niners fan. So when I'm in high school, I'm watching a lot more college sports than I'm watching today. Like I don't watch any college sports today, really. Like not even I was so disappointed in myself because I didn't really get to watch the NCAA basketball tournament because I was traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So watching a lot of Cal. Cal's got Mike Pulowski and Russell
Mm-hmm.
White running the football. And they got this kicker by the name of Doug Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
The Niners draft him in the 3rd round in 1994. And I believe he's the kicker. Is he the kicker for the Super Bowl championship team?
I think so. I think so.
So he was pick 85. So I go back to 1994
Oh,
when
okay, because okay, so that was outside of my
yeah, you didn't go back
date window.
that
Yeah,
far.
it was
That's going back way back.
98 was my cutoff. So yeah, I was like, okay, how did Stathead miss Doug Bryan? But it's because he's outside of my
Yeah, you gotta do the search that says go back when Hootie and the Blowfish was popular. That's how far you
fun
gotta go back.
fact. Doug Bryant, I saw him racing NASCAR trucks.
What?
Mm-hmm. That was when I was living in Vegas. That was years ago. At the track there, he was a NASCAR truck driver. Yeah.
His career, he was only in the Niners for 2 years and the Saints for 5 years, spanned to 2005. So I could have never told you how many years he played. I just remember he played for the Niners for a couple years. But yeah, he was he holds the record for the most point after touchdowns in a single postseason, 1994. That just means the Niners scored a lot of points in that
Right.
postseason. All right, so what did what this means for us? We've been riding the Robbie train for a long time. We had a lot of faith in Robbie. Robbie's not kicking long field goals. He's not kicking the ball in the end zone on the kickoffs. He's talking about how much he dislikes the Bay Area, but we're still riding for Robbie because he was so consistent. He was so gutsy. He's a big kick maker. But this is the sign that says they believe that Robbie's gone because you don't spend a 3rd round pick on a kicker unless he's on the team.
Yeah. And as I said, when you look at these guys, I mean, obviously, well, Sebastian Janikowski, that's just ridiculous. He was a good player, but this, at number 17, you are, I was, as I was going back and forth with people today. I mean, okay, if you just take it like replacement level player for replacement level player, if you can get a replacement level kicker or just an average kicker or an average position player, obviously you take the position player. So then what ends up happening is, where does it go? That at what point does the kicker become more valuable than a player who's going to play 3 downs? So that's an interest. That's an interest. That's the kind of thing that fascinates me.
Well,
But
you got to believe that he's kicking the ball out of the end zone, right?
yeah,
Like
oh yeah, he's definitely
that
got a power leg. That's for sure.
that's almost just, not quite as important as making field goals, but it is of importance because of how field position works in the NFL today. So he's got to be
That's
able to do
important.
that. Yeah.
But the thing is, but to your point, in the other direction, is that the other things that Robbie brought, they value those, being clutch and whatnot. They value that over, a power leg. And I think rightfully so, that if you, obviously you would want them all. If you had a choice, you'd want Justin Tucker.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you had to choose and you could only have one, I'd much rather have a guy who was that I could count on to
Like
make
Robbie, yeah.
clutch
You'd rather have Robbie.
kicks. And then we'll deal with the field position thing. We can, do whatever we got to do for that. But like we discussed this last season, I found it was interesting that taking, because Mitch was able to kick it, get it in the end zone, but it seemed like his punting improved when they took that off his plate
Yeah.
for some reason. I don't know exactly what that is, but it's a fact that I thought that he was just about done here as the punter. And then they made that change, and then he was collecting special teams player of the week awards again. So that's interesting. But that's one thing that you're definitely going to get from Moody. I've watched enough Michigan football because I'm kind of a Harb stan. So I watched Michigan just about every week, and that's one thing that you can count on is he's going to get it to the end zone. The question is, college kicking is different than NFL kicking. And so it's going to be, it's just going to be, we're going to all learn together whether or not he's, how good a professional kicker he's going to be. But like Shelvin says, he's definitely at, when you look at mock draftable, his measurables are off the chart, as, placed against the kickers, especially in his draft class, and he measures up favorably with some of the best, some kickers who have had success in the league before. So just from that one standpoint, and in his college production, all of those things are arrows up. It's just, that's high for a kicker.
Yeah.
But I mean, but if you targeted him and you felt that he was the best player on the board at that time, then you go ahead and do it. And maybe that just says everything you need to know about the depth in this year's draft class, is that, they got to 99 and we're like, nah, we don't really see anybody that we would, because, if I promise, no matter how much you like the kicker, if there is a defensive end or a defensive tackle sitting there that you think you can make into a player, I would think you got to take the dude that's going to give you, even if he never starts, which we're going to get to that. I did some with our undrafted free agents. We'll get to that at the end, but I did some quick research on that. But if you got a guy that you think is going to play, even if he doesn't develop into a starter, your rotation players end up playing a whole lot of snaps. So it's interesting, but obviously I'm rooting for him. I hope it works out. Hope it works good, works out good for us. Because I was not confident in Zane Gonzalez. So
yeah, exactly. You think Jed was like, "Hey Jim, we've had some hard times, last few years. Brought you back last year to kind of hang out with us. Give us the real deal on this Moody kid because we're interested." And I could imagine, if that call did happen, Jim probably uh, did whatever the audio version of throwing somebody into the locker. That's probably what was his comment.
You're not man enough for me to tell you about what kind of kicker he is.
I do like the fact that he came out of Michigan, though. That I don't know. Like, I was not happy that they went kicker. One, because it tells me that Robbie's gone.
Yeah.
But the other thing was like, oh gosh, there wasn't another player. But the part of my brain that was like, maybe it's not that bad is like, he played for Jim, so he's probably a pretty tough guy.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a tough guy. And then kicking in that cold weather, it's gonna be it's gonna be a walk in the park kicking here. I guess we really don't. I remember back, the days of Candlestick where kicking here was, it was kind of an art to kick in here. But it's really not the same in Santa Clara.
So just a couple of stats for Moody. Shrine Bowl MVP, 4 for 4 on field goals, including 2 from 50 plus. He was 52 for 60 on field goal attempts over his final 2 seasons at Michigan, long of 59. And he finished his college career 148 for 148 on extra points.